I want to start this video off by saying I take zero pleasure in what I'm about to say. Someone in the comments will inevitably call me a Sony fanboy whilst ignoring any points I have to say, but I'd like to make it clear from the get-go that I am no fanboy of any one gaming brand. I am a fanboy of gaming itself, if you could really call that fanboyism, and I want all platforms to thrive and push each other to be better and better as time moves on. I do, after all, own each of these consoles myself. Unfortunately, it looks like we have less competition than ever these days, with Xbox tripping over itself at every possible step. The Series X and S were Microsoft's chance to undo their past mistakes and start fresh with a new generation. It was an opportunity to relegate the Xbox One days to that of a sour but fleeting memory. Instead, what we're currently witnessing appears to be an ultra-accelerated freefall into complete irrelevancy, with one less reason to engage with the platform each and every day. At this point, you could tell me that they're purposefully self-sabotaging and I would be inclined to believe you. It's become truly baffling to witness blunder after blunder. There's no need to retread well-worn ground here. The Xbox One was a complete and utter mess from the get-go. You know that, as well as I do. The most vital misstep for the current generation, in my opinion, was the reluctance to adequately distance and differentiate themselves from the previous generation. I remember the day I first got my Series X, a console I had to fight countless armies of scalping bots for during the height of the pandemic. I turned it on for the first time and said audibly, "Oh, that's right, it's the same UI." For all intents and purposes, the PS5 is just a souped-up PS4 Pro, and in some ways, the lack of themes and customizations, it's a step down. But the fact that it's a new look from the previous generation does a lot more than most people may realize to the overall feeling of using a console. Differentiating a console as much as possible to be new and shiny is such an important part of convincing people to upgrade in the first place. The Series S and X have no exclusives, no new UI, and no hype whatsoever around them. They didn't when they released, and they somehow still don't now. The most relevant thing Xbox has done this generation is go on an unprecedented spending spree, buying up large swaths of the industry for tens of billions of dollars. Unfortunately for them, I'm not sure how long it'll take to pay off. Some of these big developers are well past their peak, at least by the looks of it. Every major release for the Xbox so far this generation has been a disappointment of epic proportion. They're still desperately trying to launch a must-have system seller game, and we're halfway through this generation. The most recent example right now is Bethesda's Starfield. Bookending an abysmal 2023 with utter embarrassments like Redfall, Xbox needed Skyrim in space to be their saving grace. Unfortunately, it seems that no one told Phil Spencer that Bethesda in the modern age is beyond washed and unable to entertain even their most die-hard fans anymore. This was a pretty crazy sight to see, honestly, as even people who in the past have dedicated all of their free time to create mods to fix previous Bethesda titles almost immediately gave up, citing the game simply wasn't worth saving this time. Don't even get me started on their performance optimization either. This apparently next-gen RPG experience was meant to showcase the power of the Series X and was capped to 30 FPS, and the visuals weren't nearly impressive enough to warrant it either. Seeing a loading screen every time I walked through a door really made me feel like I was using a hard disk drive again. Hey, maybe that was just their attempt at emulating an old-school feel, eh? Nah, I think the creation engine is just really starting to fall apart at this point. The only shimmer of hope for Xbox last year came from a smaller project turned surprise success by the name of HighFi Rush, a rhythm-based action game with a cel-shaded art style developed by Tango Gameworks. It was received warmly by both critics and players alike. Finally, some positive news for Microsoft in the gaming world. Surely they'd expand the studio and funnel plenty of resources towards their next project, right? No, they just closed the studio. Oops. Actually, not just Tango, but a deluge of Xbox-owned studios have been wiped out in the past month. Unfortunately, these kinds of bloodbaths are far from uncommon in the gaming industry, but so soon after all these acquisitions is kind of insane. Maybe they realized they bit off more than they could manage at a time? Employees are indeed the most costly part of any business, but geez, man, you'd think that they would have thought of that and had a more elegant plan for something so large scale. I've had my Series X for 3 years now, and it's been used more to watch anime than to play video games. I honestly frequently forget that I own it at all. The Nintendo Switch has been one of the greatest selling consoles of all time. The PS5 is outselling Xbox 2-1, and Xbox is crumbling in front of our very eyes. I would like nothing more for them to bounce back hard and compete, but every day I have less faith in that becoming a reality. I really hope they don't go the way of Sega and shift permanently to software for their once competitors. As always, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Are you an Xbox fan, or have you mostly forgotten about them too? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It would mean a lot. Until next time, thanks for watching.